going to be a lot of ASU fans. I'm already seeing more and more, and they're going to have a big sort of ASU gathering here at Texas Live today at 4, and then tomorrow morning before the game as well. A lot of hype for ASU now, Wolf. Starting to get some more nationally. This is Nick Saban on College Game Day last week.
You know, that Cam Skattebo guy?
Yeah,
that's got to be my favorite player in college football, man. This guy is rugged, tough.
Yep.
I mean, I just love a great competitor, and he's all that.
Wow, that is so big right there. I mean, when the best coach in the history of college football, and that's who Nick Saban is, believe it or not, that's who he is right there.
I believe it.
Yeah, no, exactly. There are some people out there, though, shaking their fist even as I say it. But you know what? When he says it, my goodness, that carries an awful lot of weight. Can you imagine if you were Cam Skattebo and you actually heard him say that? Well, we can imagine because he responded to it. But it's just a huge honor, I would imagine, for Cam.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? I know during the season you're trying to block out the noise. Although I think, Kenny Dillingham has been pretty I don't know, it was just straightforward with his players. When they started winning and they were ranked and they started being favored in games, he was kind of like, don't hide from that either. He certainly used the external motivation at the start of the season from being picked 16th out of 16. But I don't think he tries to shield his players from the accolades because you can't avoid that stuff. And something like that, it's cool to get the awards. Wolf and Skattebo's gotten quite a few Big 12 awards this season, but something like that where Nick Saban, as you said, the greatest coach in college football history, I think the majority of people would agree with that right now. If he's saying that, and he doesn't have to say that, he doesn't. It's not like Skattebo's at Alabama or something. Oh, politically, you better say that. It's at ASU, and he's gotten that level of attention now, and rightfully so, really, with the season he's had.
You know what's cool about it as well? For me, just our little rejoin right there, we came back with some country and western music right there. Yeah. Is that what you call it? Do you call it country and western anymore? Does anyone call it?
I think you just call it country.
just go with country.
Do you know they did? My young crook brothers
like
used
when
to call
Tombstone
it
was
country and
made.
western. But that's what they did. They used to call it country and western. Now we just call it country music, basically. But you know what's great about it? When I hear country music, I think of running over your face. I do.
Deeper metaphor there?
I'm just saying right now.
Face.
It's just so bass.
You don't have to worry about it no more.
I know, Sean. I'm talking though right now. I honestly, it's just so bass. It's so earthy and gritty country music for the most part. Right? And you're always telling a story, whatever it may be. And there's a lot of weird things that happen when they tell those stories. It just feels, country music feels like running the ball over your opponent and demoralizing, especially some of the slower country tunes. It's almost demoralizing to listen to it.
Well, if that's the case, I hope they play a lot of country and western, whatever western is, at at&t Stadium tomorrow. Because Wolf, you and I have been talking about this all week, but it starts with Skattebo, and that's not a shock. But especially now without Jordan Tyson, the fact that Skattebo has 8 first half touchdowns in the last 4 games could really come in handy tomorrow, because setting the tone early is going to be a big deal in this one, because obviously Iowa State can throw the ball, and ASU, it's not that they can't, but it's going to be tougher now without Tyson for sure.
You know what is so weird about this as well? We're talking an awful lot about the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks game, and then, of course, the Big 12 championship game. The similarities are there, is it not?
Yeah.
For both local teams, for ASU and what ASU has got to do in order to win this game. Now, who knows, Basin Orleans, if we all think that they have to be able to run the ball in order to win this game, who knows? Sam Levitt goes out there, minus Tyson Jordan, and has an Jordan Tyson. The land of 2 names. See that? That's dangerous right
JT.
there.
Just go with JT.
That's right, Jordan Tyson. Yes, but you get my point.
Yeah.
You have to be able to run the ball. You have to be able to run the ball. ASU has to be able to run the ball, and they're facing teams that like to throw the ball. That's interesting.
Yeah, and so that, it gets different if you fall behind and you are built on running the ball. We've seen that with the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs before. Baltimore will go out there and win 14, 15 games in the regular season, And maybe it's a little bit different for them this year, but in the past, they could be the best team in the league all season, but they fall behind by 2 scores in a playoff game, and it's a best of 1. It's not a best of 7 or best of 5 in football. So you need to be able to, if you're gonna rely on the run the way I think we all believe ASU is going to, you need to be the team that sets the tone. It's interesting with the attention, Wolf. I think people have taken notice of ASU at this point. They're 10-2, and they're in the Big 12 championship game. But it's Skattebo in particular that everybody kind of gravitates to. Now, Sam Leavitt is made a name for himself as well. I can only imagine what the hype's going to be around him going into next season if they continue to win now, because now with Skattebo and their record, the attention's on the program nationally. It's natural for everybody to look around now and say, okay, wait, who's their quarterback? And they have a freshman quarterback that's having an amazing season. So what happens a year from now when people are looking at ASU and the expectations are already there?
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Luke. What happens? I don't know exactly what is going to happen. I'm looking at the game more specifically, wondering what is going to happen. And, Luke, when you think about it, too, without having Jordan Tyson, without having him in the lineup right now, without having him out there on the field, do you think it's more likely that you may try to run your way into the end zone once you get into the red zone? You may try to do that, in particular if it's goal to goal. And we know what we have seen as of late in goal to goal situations where Cam Skattebo is actually at quarterback, direct snap.
Yeah, I tell you, one of the things that I like most about what Dillingham has done just in terms of on-field stuff is he doesn't make it more complicated than it needs to be. And I know he said this multiple times earlier in the season where his quote was basically, really good, effective football can be boring, because you don't have to run a triple reverse. You don't have to run a flea flicker. It doesn't have to be a 54-yard touchdown pass. It can be just run it up the middle. And he's got the perfect guy to do that with. And he's got, Kyson Brown's a good change of pace that can get you some carries and some yards as well. But the way Skattebo runs, I'm with you. I mean, if you're inside the 5, I know Iowa State knows it's coming, but they got to show me they can stop it before I'm going away from it.
Yeah, to that point right there, I'll do it once I get inside the 10-yard line. I'll go ahead and I'll put Cam Skattebo behind center, direct snap. And what's so cool about it, you can either run an ISO to one side when you've got that running back alongside him. You can run an ISO to one side, or you can actually run a counter to the other. So it's almost like the defense has got a gas. But the physicality of this game is going to be off the charts. Can the Sun Devils literally bludgeon Iowa State into submission? That is the question that I have. And I have the same question for the Arizona Cardinals. Just because the Seattle Seahawks shut down the Arizona Cardinals 2 weeks ago in that game doesn't mean they're going to be able to do it tomorrow or Sunday, I should say. Doesn't mean they're going to be able to do it Sunday. So to me, the similarities between these two games, it's really, really cool to see. Can you drive the other team into submission? We're going to find out.
Here's Kenny Dillingham on Skattebo potentially getting 2,000 scrimmage yards.
Yeah, I think any time that your running back can be a weapon out of the backfield, it just creates another element. And I think we always, from now till forever, want to have a back who can become a pass catcher, catch the ball out of the backfield, be a weapon. And you want to give that dude the football. You want an elite back. And I think that's one thing that we'll always have here is a back that can play on Sundays. I've been blessed to coach a lot of those guys. I mean, a lot. Coach Aguano's coached a lot. And I think this is I can say this with confidence. There's not many places better in the country right now to be a skill player. If you're a wideout or a tight end, you have a quarterback who's going to play on Sundays throwing you the ball for 2 years. If you're a running back, you have 4 linemen that can return behind a guy who just was up for the Heisman. I don't know much better situation somebody could walk into from a skill position player than those two in that situation.
What is he, about 134 yards short of 2,000 right now, Wolf? He's now their leading receiver with Jordan Tyson out. So he goes into this game as one of the top rushers in college football, and he's ASU's leading receiver right now, active receiver.
The similarities, again, between he and James Conner and what James Conner does for the Arizona Cardinals, the similarities are really stunning. It's one of the reasons why It's so cool. Monty's got a front row seat. Monty Ossenford has a front row seat to watch Cam Skattebo. I could easily see the Cardinals drafting him.
You talk about similarities, too. Both games, the other team knows that ASU and the Cardinals are going to have to run, and it doesn't matter because they're going to run, and we're going to see what happens.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.